Yalimazar, this concept of free will, in that class, we had a lot of question on the unwillingly and willingly, the kuliya. So first thing, everybody asked about unwillingly, and we talked about that in class. And then there was a question about if we are coming to this world with a choice, then do we have the concept of rebirth? And then we shared the lectures on reincarnation. So that was made clear. So there was a lot of discussion on unwillingly part. Somebody asked about willingly. How do we willingly do that? And that was so unique. We were never been asked that question. So today we'll talk about that. How do we willingly remember Allah? So let me finish this and then we'll open the floor for questions.
Willingly, how do you remember the point one? Teaching and training from childhood. Farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our souls be sacrificed on this Imam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. If you will not make your children get acquainted in the faith, they will act badly and will go in other people's faith, for which the parents and not the children would be the ones to be blamed. Besides the parents, the Mukhi and Kamya of the Jamaat, who would not have taken notice of it, would also be the ones to be blamed. Rajput, October 21st, 1903. Farman of Hazrat Imam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Think about what that means in meritocratic society. It is a remarkable feature of our tradition that we may prepare for the future. We may seek education wherever it may be, and we will always be in keeping with one of the fundamental premises of our tariqah, which is the development of the human intellect. Therefore, in looking to the years ahead, keep strong and loyal and united to the practice of the faith. It is a faith, must be of conviction, not a faith of convenience, as has occurred in some other faiths, in other parts of the world. And if it is a faith of conviction, then it is a faith of conviction not only in the heart, of the soul, of the intellect. It is a faith of conviction, of intellect, and of ethic. London, United Kingdom, August 5th, 1994.
Sorry?
Farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our souls be sacrificed on this Imam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Your religion is spiritual, and that of the others is physical. How great is the difference between the spiritual and the physical faiths? If spiritual knowledge will not reach their souls in their young age, then the physical religion would get set into their minds. Rajput, October 21st, 1903. And Allah Almighty says in Quran, and how many signs in the heavens and the earth do they pass by? Yet they turn their faces away from them. Surah 12, Ayat 105.
So we have read some farmans of Hazrat Imam and Sultan Muhammad Shah, and we have also read a reference from Quran. All these are showing us that there is a choice. Our parents, listening to this farman, made a choice to teach us to go to Jamaat Khana regularly. But if we are only taught to go to Jamaat Khana, then Imam says that the work is not done enough. Then Hazrat Imam emphasized on education. When we started to get worldly education, somehow our focus became on only how to improve or better our physical life. And we kept going to Jamaat Khana, mostly mechanically just following the rites and rituals. Some of us asked question that why are we doing this? What is the reason? And that's what Imam is trying to draw our attention, that the reason for the worldly education was to develop the intellect so we understand the signs given in earth, in the microcosm and macrocosm, the world outside and in the personal world. Okay? Then the next point is, so this was the one reason, okay, that we willingly made a choice to remember Imam by following this farman and the Quran.
Point 2, tests. Farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our souls be sacrificed on this Imam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. You should not seek a test for yourselves, because a test is indeed very difficult. Manjavadi, December 31st, 1893. And surely we shall try you with something of fear and hunger, and loss of wealth and lives, and crops. But give glad tidings to the steadfast. Surah 2, Ayat 155.
So we said that whenever we are in this world and we somehow become focused in the worldly things, and Mola sends tests on our life, loss of wealth, loss of loved ones, temporarily we realize, oh, that's a knock on the door. We wake up, we start going to Jamaat Khana, we start praying more because there's a fear. Okay, there's a fear, there's a pain, there's loss. So these tests are sent to us to remind us that there is a higher purpose than this loss or pain you are feeling. Because whatever you're feeling, it's all temporary. Some of us remember this test, take that call, and change their lifestyle. Most of us, again, after some time, forget that. So the question is, how do we remember? How to submit our free will? Because it's all about free will. It's a choice. Choice of following the farman, being a parent, teaching. Choice of go for education and change yourself to understand the religion. And then even if you forget, then Mola sends tests in our life. If we take that test as a call, we make a choice to change. But then still we forget. Still we, get into temptation of the world. And we just forget about our iman and our Jamaat Khana, our intellectual growth. How do we keep making that choice to keep not forgetting iman? How do we submit our free will? Because it's a choice all the time we take, to go for the worldly goods or to go for your spiritual enlightenment. So how to submit our free will, how to stay consistent, how to stay conviction, follow the religion. The only answer to that is through love of iman. There is no other answer.
Love of thee. O God, if I worship thee in fear of hell, burn me in hell. And if I worship thee in hope of paradise, exclude me from paradise. But if I worship thee for thine own sake, withhold not thine everlasting beauty. A prayer of Rabia Basri, a Sufi.
Subhanallah. So this prayer is so beautiful. We cannot remember Imam because we are scared, because we have fear of losses, because we feel the pain of worldly loss. It cannot be based on fear. One cannot elevate himself or herself if we are praying because we are scared, if it is fear-based. Okay? That's why Rabia Basri says, if I pray due to fear, it does not make a difference. I would extinguish. She used to say she would go to the market and carry a fire in one hand and a water in another hand. And she would tell this to people. If you were to pray due to the fear of hell, I'm going to extinguish the fire with this water. And if you're praying due to the greed of the heavens, I'm going to put fire in the heavens. So we cannot pray, we cannot love, we cannot say that we love Imam because we are scared of the hell or due to the rewards of the heavens. All of us, we do want things in our physical life. And Imam says to us, but the higher purpose is to become one with Mawla. And that's a choice we have to make. Every breath, do we say our zikr, our Ism Azam, or do we think of our worldly things? So it's a choice to make. So now we have some Ginan part. I'm going to read the Gujarati part, and Khayal, you can read the meaning of it. So what P has taught us about it, okay? Sadgur kahere prem pyasi man vase ane man mahe kiya le ne e duniya durijan dikhave to jabal hove kahere. Forgive me if my pronunciation is wrong.
The true guide says, the thirsty of love resides in the mind or heart, and in the mind or heart he thinks of and feels love. He or she perceives the world as wicked, which eventually turns to clay by burning and drowning.
So, when we are coming to these Ilmi classes and we are learning more and more about our tariqah, we are trying to have this higher level of knowledge so we have more ishq of Mawla in our heart so we don't forget him. So a lover's mind is always filled with his thoughts in his mind of Imam and his zikr on his lips all the time. That's what our Pir is guiding us to. Okay, and then Pir says, Sadgur kahere preet pyani doeli ane prem peda hai sool. Ek kanak kasoti aapku to 14 pave molre.
The true guide says, the path of love of the beloved is difficult, and the pains, trials, and tribulations of love are the thorns. The gold, which is the devotee, is tested by the Lord and attains a very high value.
So we have realized that we all are here because we want to become that devotee. कुंदन जो है सोना कैसे बनता है जब आग में चलता है. A gold metal, that gold cannot become if it's not burnt. So devotee, the true lover of Imam, goes through the tests which come to him as a calling, makes a choice, and then is ready to take more tests. What kind of tests? Coming to this class is giving the time. It's a test. It's a sacrifice that we are willingly, by making a choice, we are doing to attend these classes to feel the love of Imam, to learn about the Imam. Okay? So the lover's mind is constantly filled with Imam's remembrance through different ways. Zikr, ibadat, ilm. Mechanically following the religion tariqah, it's not enough. We have all learned that. That's why we are here. And then Pir says on doing zikr or ibadat, because that's one way we are thinking that we are going to feel the love of Imam. So Pir says, Sadgur kahere, piyu piyu to sab jug kare, piyu na paave koi. Mukh japanta jo piyu mile, to sir sata na hoye re.
The true guide says, the entire creation can pronounce, beloved, beloved, but not every being attains the beloved thus. If the beloved could be attained by mere movement of the lips, there is no need of bargaining of the head or mental faculties, participation of the intellect and faith.
So when we used to think that if we are regular in Jamaat Khana, if we are doing bandagi, Pir says that's not enough. If you're not developing your mental faculties, you're not developing your intellect, it's not enough. You're not doing right. So it's a lip service. Now here we all are knowledge seekers. What does Pir say about us? He says, Sadgur kahre ginani pandit jug mahe kehlave. અને ચરણ ધોઈ ફિલાવે આ મરમ ના જાણે મોક્ષ કા તો અતકા કરના પાપ રે.
The true guide says, the knowledgeable scholar is well known in the world, and in pride presses his feet, having washed them. If he does not know the essence of salvation, then all his actions are sinful.
So if we are knowledge seekers, and if we think that we want to get this knowledge and we know a lot, he says that's not enough either. The key word here is salvation. Now, salvation, what does it mean? Annihilation, fana, being ashik of Imam, feeling the love, the ishq of Imam. And there's another word which I forgot to mention, sacrifices. These are all synonyms. Salvation, fana, ishq, qurbani. These are all synonyms, okay? So, and this salvation is at 3 levels. Physical, spiritual and intellectual. What is physical? Going to Jamaat Khana is physical, only physical. Paying the som is only physical. Spiritual is when we sit in our bandagi, when we do tasbihat at home. That's a physical, that's spiritual. Intellectual, when we are sitting here in this class trying to build our intellect, think in a different ways, at a higher level. So that's a spiritual qurbani, intellectual qurbani. So the qurbani is at 3 levels, physical, spiritual and intellectual. And that is why whenever Imam comes and gives us didar, he always says Khana Vadan 3 times. Because his dua is for us to be abad at physical level, spiritual level and intellectual level. Same the dua. The dua we are given in Jamaat Khana is that may Mawla give you Zahiri, Batini and Nurani didar. That means there's a physical didar which we all have had. There's a spiritual didar which we can have in ibadat. And then there is a Nurani didar, which is gained through the higher level of knowledge actually. Alright? Now, when the salvation happens, what does Pir says? Pir says, Sadgur kahere prem bhagati to hriday vise, ane antar lage leh lage. Swaso swas aim jampiye, jem kane surat na jaye.
The true guide says, the loving devotion resides in the heart. And let the interior be filled with intense desire. With every breath, recite his name in such a manner that even the ear is not conscious of it.
सदगुरु कह रहे जिस मने ईमान प्रगटिया तैसे गफलत होवे दूर त्या अंधेरा सू करे जिहाँ सदगुरु केरा नूर रे.
The true guide says, in whom faith is manifest, heedlessness is rendered remote. What can darkness of ignorance do in the presence of the light of knowledge and wisdom from the true guide?
સદગુરુ કહે રે ઇશ્ક તો વાડી માં ના નિપજે અને ઇશ્ક તો હાથે ના વેચાય ઇશ્ક તો હરડા માહે નિપજે તે હૈડું ખોરી ખાય રે.
The true guide says, the love for the beloved cannot be cultivated in a garden and it cannot be sold at the shop. The divine love can only be cultivated in the heart. It consumes the edge of the heart as it grows.
Subhanallah. So imagine this is ishq. This is so. It just listening to these words gives us such a pleasure in our heart. Imagine when we have that kind of ishq in us, that feeling, right? So I was searching internet and I found some poetries from different Sufis. I'm sharing here. Let's read that. Why don't you read that?
This tradition of love and affection is extremely ancient. Be coquettish, it is elegant beauty, it is youthfulness. The holy God is unique, beautiful and handsome. Your elegance and beauty is one of his signs. O ignorant heart, merge in his true love. Other than Ali's love, all is perishable. In this world, my paradise is elegance, beauty, and union. If there is no book of love, alas, it is but storytelling. I have a strange devotion for beauty and love. My thirst and eagerness is for the spiritual booty. Ironic, but one of the most intimate acts of our body is death. I have two ways of loving you, a selfish one and another way that is worthy of you. In that other love, you lift the veil and let me feast my eyes on your loving face. Wow. This is love, to fly toward a secret sky, to cause 100 veils to fall each moment. First, let go of life. Finally, to take a step without feet. Wow. Zuleika let everything be in the name of Joseph. From celery seed to aloes wood, she loved him so much. She concealed his name in many different phrases, their inner meanings known only to her. When she said, the wax is softening near the fire, she meant, my love is wanting me. Or if she said, look, the moon is up, or the willow has new leaves, or the branches are trembling, or the coriander seeds have caught fire, or the roses are opening, or the king is in a good mood today, or isn't that lucky, or the furniture needs dusting, or the water carrier is here, or it's almost daylight, or these vegetables are perfect, or the bread needs more salt, or the clouds seem to be moving against the wind, or my head hurts, or my headache is better. Anything she praises, it's Joseph's touch she means. Any complaint, it's his being away. When she's hungry, it's for him. Thirsty, his name is a sherbet. Cold, he's a fur. That is what the friend can do when one is in such love. Sensual people use the holy names often, but they don't work for them. The miracle Jesus did by being the name of God, Zuleika felt in the name of Joseph.
Subhanallah. So these are poetries, but there is so much wisdom in these poetry. So number one, the tradition of love and affection is extremely ancient, and it is true. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in his memoir says that if you experience physical love, like men and women, then you experience that hakiki love in fractions. So imagine if we experience the happiness or the pains of being away from the beloved in the worldly level, that experience is in fractions in comparison to the love of Imam. Imagine if we feel that kind of love. I feel I'm so desperate to get that love. I have no words to feel that love in my heart, so I can feel that enlightenment, that happiness which our peers talk about, right? And then it's so interestingly that it says in this poetry that it is only through the death that we can attain that kind of love. Being alive, we cannot. But the key is that we do not need to die physically. We need to, with our free will, make that choice to get to that love. So it's all about the power of free will we have here. Okay? And then there was another point. Yes. And one of the verse says here, there's a selfish love, the worldly love, the love of friends, spouse, children, worldly goods. And then there is a love which is selfless, which Imam tells us that my love, you cannot even imagine. He says that you have felt the love of your parents 1,000 times multiplied by that. That much I love you. Do we love him that much? Do we miss him that much? Do we think of that much? So these are the choices we got to make to feel the love of Imam. And through that only we can submit our free will. Because our main question is, why do we keep forgetting? Why do we not remember him all the time? How do we submit our free will? So this is the answer, right? For people who like Urdu, as I love, that's my language, I have two Urdu translation of the Sufi verses I read, so I'm going to read that. The first one in Urdu, it says, ये रस्म इश्क और मोहब्बत बहुत पुरानी है. ये रस्म इश्क और मोहब्बत बहुत पुरानी है. दिखा तू नाज़े लतीफ़ हुस्न है जवानी है. खुदाए पाक जमील व हसीन यकता है. खुदाए पाक व जमील हसीन यकता है. ये तेरा हुस्न व जमाल उसकी एक निशानी है. So if we see the beauty in somebody in this world, what we say? That the beauty I am seeing, it is his example. Remember, the praise is not for us or for us mortal beings. The praise is only for him. फना हो इश्क हकीकी में दिले नादान, सिवाय इश्क अली कुछ भी हो वो फानी है.
रिपीट कर दें.
फना हो इश्क हकीकी में ए दिले नादान, सिवाय इश्क अली कुछ भी हो वो फानी है. जहां में मेरी बिहिश्त हुस्न है जमाल और विसाल. विसाल being salvated in him, being fana in him. I don't exist, it's only you. Who am I? I'm no one, it's only you. जहां में मेरी बिहिश्त हुस्न है जमाल और विसाल, किताबे इश्क ना हो किस्सा खानी है. अजीब हुस्न परस्त हूं अजीब इश्क परस्त. This is, I would say this is for me. अजीब हुस्न परस्त अजीब इश्क परस्त, हमेशा तशना लबी बराए हूरे जानी है. So imagine the intellectual pearls when we learn from Quran, it's like we are tasting those, seeing those hoods which we'll see in the heavens. So we don't need to go die and see those hoods. We can see it today, here in this life. We got to make that choice. And then the last part, also I have it in Urdu. जुलेखा के लिए हर चीज यूसुफ का नाम था, अजवाइन के बीज से लेकर मिस्बर लकड़ी तक. उनसे इतना इश्क करती थी कि उनका नाम अपनी बातों में कई तरीकों से छुपाती थी. जिनके अंदरूनी माने वो ही जानती थी. Whatever we do in this world, whatever actions, we are talking to him. And this is such a beautiful example. जब वो कहती मोम आग की कुर्बत में पिघल चुका है, जबकि मतलब होता मेरा जाना मेरी चाहत कर रहा है. How can that be? How can that be? But see, her thoughts were always filled with his love of the Imam. या अगर वो कहती देखो चांद ऊपर है, या दरख्त पर नए पत्ते लग चुके हैं, या ये शाखें कपकपा रही हैं, या धनिये की बीजों को आग लग चुकी है, या गुलाब के फूल खिल रहे हैं, या बादशाह का मिजाज अच्छा है, या क्या ये खुशकिस्मती नहीं है, या फर्नीचर को धूल धप्पा की जरूरत है, पानी का जग यहाँ पर है, अब तकरीबन दिन चढ़ चुका है, ये सब्जियां बेऐब हैं, या रोटी में नमक कम है, ऐसा लगता है कि बादल हवा की मुखालिफत सिमट जा रहे हैं, मेरे सर में दर्द है, मेरे सर का दर्द अब बेहतर है. किसी भी चीज की वो तारीफ करती, वो यूसुफ के लम्स की बात करती. अगर कोई शिकायत करती तो उसकी जुदाई की बात होती. कोई भी शिकायत क्या है? उसकी जुदाई की बात. वो यूसुफ के लम्स, जब भूखी होती वो उनके लिए होती, प्यासी होती तो उनका नाम शरबत होता, ठंड में वो इनके लिए फर्द है. ये एक दोस्त ही कर सकता है जब वो ऐसे इश्क में हो. इमाम सुल्तान मोहम्मद शाह सेज दैट मोमिन जो है वो रूह दोस्त होते हैं. रूह के दोस्त? हाउ कैन यू बी फ्रेंड्स विद सोल? I don't see any soul, we all are human in physical body. But when you reach to higher level, you don't see physical bodies, you see only souls. You love everybody equally. You don't have any other feelings because you see everybody having the light of the Imam. Even these things, they are not alive, but you see Imam in it. When you're drinking and eating, you're working, you're doing your daily duties, you're only thinking and talking about Imam. How can that be? It is simply by making the choice of saying, I submit my free will to you, Mawla. When we do that, He becomes our guide, He becomes our supporter, He becomes the warrior for us. Remember, we are warriors. We are Lashkar, we are the army of Baitul Khayal. But we've been practicing Baitul Khayal, but we've not been able to action or that consistent walk on this true path. We keep on going like this and that. If we submit our free will cognitively, with intention, do zikr ibadat, do attend classes, do studies at home, the more time we give to Him, the more closer He comes. Remember His way of giving it to us, ek ka sawala. We need to take one step, He comes near to us 1.25 lakh times. Have you ever had that kind of calculation in this world? No. So it's so interesting that He is just willing to give us. Willingly, we have to make that choice. So thank you. If any question.
And this is a great way of teaching and learning, getting stuff like this ready. If any one of you want to present something from the whatever previous weeks that we have learned, if you wanted to present this, put it in a PDF, bring it over here, and the floor is yours. We all are either teacher or will be teacher in the near future. How do we do that? By doing something like that. This is a great way of learning and teaching, to have something visually ready. Do some research, get something ready, let her know, show to her, and you can come over and present something. That way you can say, okay, this is my understanding. Remember, if you need any help, we'll always be here to help with whatever you wanted to present. Just share with us, show her what you want to do, and we all can do it. Because we have learned so much, this is the right time and good way of, bringing it over here and sharing with your friends and your classmates. This will be a good way of doing it. Thank you. This is a great way. This is great. Thank you so much. So, what is next?
I was hoping that we can talk about Qurbani.
Yes.
Sacrifice is so important, and then how to sacrifice. When we do zikr and ibadat, we are trying to bring every cells in our being to life. Quran talks about our ruhe munjamid, frozen soul. We all have souls, but somehow we have not awakened that soul. That's why the weakness is there, the temptation is there. When we do zikr ibadat, by doing zikr ibadat, we are trying to make every cell in our being to come to life. We have talked about that we are not one soul. We have the whole alam-e-zar, the universe of particles within us. In what form? In the form of cells. So when we are doing tasbihat, we do understand the meaning of tasbihat and then do it. When we are doing ibadat, focus on the meaning of it. It's not lip service. It's understanding His exalted being and then saying His name. When we are coming to knowledge classes, it's a sacrifice. We are giving our time. We can be somewhere else resting or earning money, but we are sacrificing our sleep or our work, whatever, we are here. The more you sacrifice, the more you get. Salvation, ishq, is equal to sacrifice. Sometimes we feel that we are so much pressured by the time and the expectations of this world. It is hard to make this choice. But Imam has made it so easy for us. What Peer has said, that Uthya Bethya Rah Chalanta, Naam Sahib Ji ko lijiye. Name with the meaning of it. So when we are saying the name, we are saying with the ishq in our heart, with the thought. One can go to Jamaat Khana, do all the rites and ritual and come out without feeling single feeling in it. If we can do that. We are in Jamaat Khana but our mind is at work or somewhere else. Why did we even go to Jamaat Khana? Then Imam says that there's no difference between you and animal. By understanding this concept, what we are trying to do, we are trying to actually elevate our ranks. Remember when we talked about free will? With free will we can make a choice to become an angel from this mortal being in this life. We don't have to die to become an angel. Imam says not only angel but even higher than that. You can do that. So it is in our control, it is in our free will that we can decide to become angel from today. Angels, who are those? They have no free will. Meaning what? They submitted their free wills. If Imam says that we have two choices to become animal or to become an angel, meaning that those humans who made this choice to submit the free will to the Imam, then what was their food? Ibadat, zikr. What was their drink? Knowledge. So it is up to us to make that motto of our life, that is what I will drink, my knowledge, and what will I eat is my zikr. And then this physical body, let it work, let it do the sacrifice. In Kalam Maula Ali says that jism is for kasri, it's for practice, it's for hardship. Look at all the examples of the prophets. They were shepherds, they were farmers, they used to work very hard physically. Maula Ali used to fight so many warriors. But if you were to read about him in Nahjul Balagha, he ate so little. How did he have so much strength to fight 20 people in one go? How did he do that? The strength comes from the zikr and ibadat, with the knowledge actually. So they both, it's like, when you sit in canoe, you have two oars to pull yourself forward. When we do this with full understanding and we submit our free will intentionally to Imam, we will do our work. Our work will be done. We will not neglect our physical duties. We will be father, we will be mother or spouse or work. We will do everything. But our heart, our mind, it will be constantly in this. We'll sleep less because we want to read more. We'll watch less TV because we want to do our tasbihat. We'll do all the sacrifices. These sacrifices will come easy to us. Otherwise, it feels too much to do all these things. It feels like that we have added something new in our life. I've sacrificed my sleep hours, or now I have to read this because I'm expected to do this. When we think of it as a burden, that means we have not made that choice. If you willingly make a choice, then it's not a burden. It is for the love of Imam. How easy this becomes. This process, this journey becomes very easy. And Imam is so forgiving. He says, it takes time. Ilm wali ruh darja ba darja upar chadti hai. So today if I understand this concept and I think, no, from today I'll become 100% good, 100% convicted. No, it cannot be. We will make mistake. But you know what? We'll come back on the path. And how do you come on the path? The most important thing is stay within the group. If you are with the lovers of knowledge and lovers of Imam, it is easy because we can remind each other. We as a group can do more tasbihat as a group. Then and we pray for each other. Because if I see only Imam's love in each other's soul, then when I'm praying for you, I'm praying for me. When I'm praying for me, I'm praying for you. So we are praying for each other to stay consistent on this path. Then this journey is so easy. It does not matter if the class is in the evening or in the morning. I'm sacrificing my sleep to read. I'm driving, I could not focus. Keep pushing ourselves and then all these things will become easy on us. So sacrifice, the word sacrifice, replace it with ishq. Think of always ishq. Why am I doing this? Because I love Imam. Shukran Dullah. Any questions, any comments?